Hey everybody, it's Paul from Alexandria Knife Sharpening and Laser Engraving. So we had a wicked storm here last night and it knocked out the power, and we have pretty much nothing here in the shop. The shop is completely dead. The house is dead. It's beautiful out. You wouldn't know it. So if you look outside, the storm that we got only lasted maybe 15-20 minutes, but we had really heavy winds and we've had rain for the last several days, and it knocked some major trees over. People were literally like almost trapped in our development. They shut down the road because there was a huge tree across it, like 400-year-old oak, gigantic trees came down and took all the power lines out. We currently have nothing. I was literally in the middle yesterday of uploading a new video. I was caught up on all of my sharpening and I was like, great, I'm gonna do all kinds of testing on the new laser. And then the storm came in, knocked everything out, and we have been down hard since. Now, the reason I'm doing this is just, it is something you wanna consider depending on where you are, where you live, what you do. Fortunately, having lived through Hurricane Sandy and been a cop during all that back in New Jersey, I can say that I have a small generator. It's a Yamaha. It's like similar to a lot of Hondas that people like. It's a small generator, but the good thing is it is strong enough to power some pretty decent things. So my one concern is, we don't want everything in our refrigerator and freezer to melt. It can run a freezer, no problem. It's running my freezer right now, and you don't even have to run it all that time, all day long. You can run a few hours as long as you're not opening and closing it. Your food will stay good and everything. So that's currently what I'm doing. I'm running the freezer. I have a couple other things plugged in. My generator, I literally hadn't started it in probably 5 years. I think I started about 5 years ago. I pulled it out one day and said, let's just make sure everything's running fine. Started up great. Everything was perfect. And then this morning I had to pull it down from the attic because that's where I had it. I was like, well, you know what? It'll give me a good chance to get all the emergency stuff back into shape, the lighting and things that I like to just, make sure I have for my family. And so I pulled the generator out. I filled it with some fresh gas. It had, I changed the oil in it, because I've barely ever run it. I think I've ran it like 2 times ever. Checked everything, made sure there was oil in there. It was nice and clean. Everything was good to go. Filled it up, pulled it, started right up. And I was so excited it started right up. I walked away and I had left the choke fully out. And I think it caused it to flood for some reason. So it took me a little while. I had to take it out and was finally able to get it running again. And it started again right up. It's one of those tools that is a great tool. So I'll show you it. I'm going to go out there and show you what's going on out there. Yeah, the one good thing I did realize is I'm having my generators running right outside of this garage door. I'm going to flip the camera around here real quick. The garage door here, but my generator has multiple outlets on it. So I should be able to run an extension cord in here, and I won't be able to power the whole shop, but I can probably power some of the things in the shop, no problem, off of my generator. It's a really good generator. It's safe for electronics and that kind of stuff. My Bamboo Labs printer yesterday was in the middle of printing something when all this happened and it just stopped. Now, they say it's supposed to start again when the power comes back on. That's going to be interesting to see because we are well into, probably about 18 hours now with no power. My computer still has power, like my laptop, because of the battery, so I shut that down. I didn't close the program out. I'm really curious to see if that's going to start up and start printing where it left off, so that will be interesting to see. And then let me take you outside. Extension cords running into my freezer fridge over there. We have no internet at all, and that includes cell phone. We have no cell phone internet at all. I have one bar, but nothing's working. The only thing coming through are text messages. So here's the outside, but I am gonna set up one extension cord and run it in here, because I'm curious to see. Now, one thing I didn't consider when I moved over here, which is interesting, is the fact that certain areas around here do lose power quite a bit. Now, I only lived a mile away, but I must have been right near like a switching box, so when we would lose power, usually it would come back on right away, but that is not the case today. And the direction that I moved was notorious. Like, I have a buddy that lived about a mile and a half away, and he has many times lost power for significant periods of time. And when I say significant, I'm talking like days. Sometimes it takes them 2 or 3 days. We, for a decade, were really lucky, never had anything like that. But that might be a scenario that I'm dealing with more now because of the section of town that I'm living in. But here's the generator. Just wanted to show you guys that. It's a little Yamaha. There's Hondas that are very similar to it. I'm going to run another cord in to the garage and see how this will do, and see what I can run so that I can keep working even when I have a power outage, and still run my refrigerator and freezer and that kind of stuff. And we'll see how that goes. So at least it's a good stress test of the system and how will things work if I don't have power. This one's nice. It's got a little fuel gauge up top there. And right now I have it on eco, so it's the most fuel efficient running. So if I have to get a lot more power, I can turn that up. It makes more noise on the higher power, but we'll see how that goes. And I actually have some solar stuff too. This thing, I think, needs a new battery. It is charging currently, but it didn't run all that long. I've had to replace the battery in here before. This one can get a new battery in it, but this is from Goal Zero. I have liked a lot of their stuff in the past. I've had a lot of little chargers and things from them. I think my plastic here is starting to break down. It's getting a little sticky. Yeah, definitely. I hate when that happens. Usually you can clean that off with some isopropyl alcohol. Let me show you the disaster. I'm gonna take my scooter. I have an electric scooter. I'm gonna take that down to the end of the street to take a look at the progress and see if they're making anywhere with the tree that came down. My wife was out there earlier this morning at about 9, and she said, yeah, they haven't even touched it yet. So that's one of the interesting things too. I will say this: when I lived in New Jersey, even though our taxes were very high, they were really great when it came to services like this. And even when I was a police officer, we were very quick at cleaning roads, cutting down trees, getting stuff out of the way, and trying to get services restored as quick as possible. That has not been the case here in Virginia. I don't know why, but they definitely, when you're dealing with, it's very different out here. So we have townships more in where I'm from in New Jersey, and the police department I worked for was an 8 square mile township. But you know, even our public works guys had all kinds of equipment and cherry pickers, and so from our own town, we would get a lot of support to get things up and running. Definitely not the case out here. You know, Fairfax County is like the biggest county, I think, in the country. It's huge. It's the size of a city. So I don't know if that's part of the problem. You know, like it's like when they get to you, they get to you. Yeah, so that's the situation. And I'll add to this a little bit and show you what's going on. But I am going to try and see if I can get a few things running in here just out of curiosity, because I actually just had a guy leave. He went to drop off knives, and he drove here from 20-30 minutes away. But the minute I told him I didn't have power, he's like, oh, well, I think I'll go somewhere else to get my knives sharpened, that's fine by me. I'm sure in a day or so we'll probably hopefully have our power back, but I do want to see if I can get things up and running. So at least if jobs come in, I have one right now. That's it. I have this one job to do, and I figure, well, I can't do any laser work. I can't do any computer work. I can't do any website work. I can't really do anything, but I could sharpen some knives if I can get some power in here. So that's the next goal, see if we can get some power in here. So there's some parts of the tree that was across the road. Looks like they were able to get that cleared right away. So that's a positive. We do still have a entire light pole here that is bent over big time. Not sure if that's the problem or not. And you can see they're working pretty hard down the way to get power restored. All right, so here's a little quick update on the situation. It's 1:30 and we still no power, but I was able to run another line to my Tormex setup, and the good news is I will be able to sharpen. So even though I have no internet, no power, no anything, the generator is doing a fine job. It's running the fridge. It's keeping our food nice and cold. I have one fan running over here. These lights you see are actually battery powered. They can be either plugged in or battery powered. They're old photography lights I have. They're actually not old. They're actually not that old. They're really good photography lights with pretty big battery packs, so I can use those to get some light in here. And I'm gonna finish up the one sharpening job that I have in the shop that came in late yesterday, because hey, why not? Got nothing else to do. Can't do any computing, can't do any 3D printing, can't do anything until we get full power back in the shop. But at least my whole row of Tormex will run. You can probably hear the generator running off behind me, but yeah, no problem. It's not even like kicking it. I'm still running on eco mode, which preserves the most fuel, which is nice. And I can turn all of these on and no problems there. So I will kick on some of my LED lights, and I'm gonna knock out this sharpening job I got here in the shop, because I finished up yesterday with everything, and this one came in late. So I'm gonna do this right now under, what would we say, emergency conditions. So I got some Global and a Shun, and then I have 4 Western knives over there. Why don't we start with this Global. I have a feeling this grinder probably pulls a lot more electricity. Let's see if it can handle it. Hear the generator kick on. But it didn't trip. Just that initial startup. So certain tools pull a lot of power. Usually it's startup, and that's basically what was happening there. It's almost like a compressor kicking on. We're still running on eco mode too. I'm sure if I needed to work at this level of power, it handled it without tripping, so that was great. But you could definitely hear it start running the RPMs up faster to be able to handle that. The other thing I could just simply do is just use the Tormec, right? There's no reason I can't hone on the Tormec. It just takes longer. But this motor on the Tormec clearly doesn't put a lot of strain on the generator. So good to know. Conditions where I would might have to shut the shop down, I can still sharpen. Yeah, it's working great. Rather than risk tripping the generator, I'm just gonna do all the honing on the Tormec machine. It's a little weird working in here with just fluorescent lights without the overhead lights. It's a little hard on the eyes, but we can test the jewelry buffers too, see how they do. And I normally don't use this that much anymore because of just speed and time. It's usually a lot faster for me to use my leather wheel that's on my grinder or on the 1x30s. But as you can see, it will totally get the job done. It just takes longer. But it's It's not a big deal. It's not that much longer, but it just takes a little longer. There we go, right? Beautiful push cut. Let's check some more spots. Yep, it's push cutting. I'm not feeling any chips. Let's do a slice. Yep, no chips. All good.